Hello, dear friends, and welcome to today's discussion on unconventional insights on building authentic connections. I'm your host, speaking to you from a place of calm reflection and heartfelt curiosity in a world where screens often replace face-to-face conversations and where likes can feel more valuable than genuine camaraderie. How do we cultivate relationships that resonate with our deepest selves? Why do we sometimes feel surrounded by people yet still yearn for genuine connection? If you've ever wondered how to bridge the gap between surface-level small talk and meaningful bonds, you're in good company, and today we're going to explore that very question through the lens of Stoic wisdom. Stoicism, far from being a dry set of mental exercises, offers vibrant insights into human nature, vulnerability, and mutual understanding. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, all faced with the tumult of their own lives, left us pointers on how to engage authentically with others. And these pointers, though crafted nearly 2 millennia ago, speak directly to the heart of modern struggles, loneliness, distraction, and the fear of being truly seen. So, let us begin our journey together, inviting clarity, presence, and inner strength into our interactions. Part 1. Embrace radical presence. Have you ever been mid-conversation and realized your mind has wandered to your to-do list? Or perhaps you were half listening while sending a text. We've all been there. Yet, what if the key to authentic connections lies in a simple, radical practice, being fully present? Epictetus reminds us that we control only our thoughts and actions, not the external world. But within that control lies immense power. The moment you decide to set aside distractions and lean into the here and now, you offer yourself wholly to the person before you. Imagine you're sitting across from a friend at a cafe rather than scrolling through notifications. You notice the subtle flicker in their eyes when they talk about their dreams, and you catch the slight tremble in their voice as they confess a lingering worry. That attentiveness says, "I see you, you matter." In his discourses, Epictetus recounts a story, a student anxious about a public speaking exam. Rather than berating him, Epictetus simply said, "Speak to me as you would to a dear friend." In that moment, the student felt safe and connected. Our undivided attention creates sacred spaces for vulnerability and openness. And when we grant that space, we invite others to lean in, too. Part 2. Practice humble curiosity. What's more genuine than genuine curiosity? Yet, we often feign interest or rush to relate everything to ourselves. Seneca, in his letters, prods us to resist the temptation to be the expert in every conversation. Instead, approach each interaction with a beginner's mind. Ask open-ended questions. What has inspired you lately? How have you navigated that challenge? Then listen, not for the next moment you can share a similar anecdote, but to truly understand their perspective. I remember a time when I met a retiree who spent decades teaching mathematics. At first, I defaulted to asking, "So do you miss the classroom?" She paused, then said, "I miss the magic of moments when a student suddenly saw beyond numbers." That answer surprised me, and it led to a deeper discussion about wonder, patience, and the beauty of shared discovery. Had I pretended expertise or hurried to my own stories, I'd have missed that gem. Being humbly curious also means acknowledging our limits. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I am a human being. Nothing human is alien to me," he wasn't brushing off differences. He was celebrating them. By admitting, "I don't have all the answers," we empower the other person to share theirs. That vulnerability plants seeds of mutual respect. Part 3. Share your imperfections. We live in a culture obsessed with perfection, flawless Instagram feeds, and carefully curated success stories. But perfection is the enemy of authenticity. When we dare to share our imperfections, our fears, our mistakes, our awkward moments, we grant permission for others to do the same. And that shared vulnerability forges the strongest bonds. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often do our imagined flaws separate us from the people we want to connect with? When we voice those fears, we discover that many others share them. Consider the last time you admitted to a friend, "I'm worried I'm not good enough for this." More often than not, they respond with empathy and share their insecurities. It's in these moments that we realize we're not alone. Allow me to share a brief anecdote. A colleague of mine confessed during a team meeting that she'd missed a critical deadline because she'd underestimated the project scope. Instead of reprimanding, the team rallied to support her, sharing their tales of miscalculation. That honest confession shifted the meeting from finger-pointing to problem-solving, and it deepened our professional trust. Imperfections, shared openly, become bridges rather than barriers. Part 4. Lead with empathy, not sympathy. What's the difference between empathy and sympathy? Sympathy says, I feel sorry for you. Empathy says, I feel with you. Stoic wisdom champions this latter stance, to step into another person's shoes without judging or trying to fix them. It's an active, engaged presence. Epictetus suggests that we train our hearts as soldiers trained for battle, prepared for challenges, yet gentle with ourselves and others. Empathy isn't passive. It requires us to listen not only to words, but to the emotions beneath them. If a friend expresses frustration about their job, rather than offering quick solutions, you might say, "That sounds exhausting. Tell me more about what's weighing on you." Notice how that opens space for deeper sharing. Consider Marcus Aurelius' own life as emperor. He faced rebellion, betrayal, and personal loss. Yet in his meditations, he constantly reminds himself to treat others with compassion, recognizing that the mistaken opinions of others are the result of their ignorance. In other words, rather than condemning, he sought to understand. We, too, can pause before reacting, asking, what might this person be experiencing? That moment of empathy transforms conversation into communion. Part 5. Create rituals of connection. That in our busy lives, spontaneous moments of connection can be precious, but they can also slip through the cracks. The Stoics valued daily rituals to ground their minds, journaling at dawn and reflecting on challenges at night. Why not apply similar rituals to your relationships? Here's an unconventional idea. Start each day by sending one heartfelt message. Not a generic good morning, but something like, I read that quote you shared last week, and it made me think differently about patience. Thank you. Or, at week's end, convene a 10-minute gratitude check-in with a loved one, where each person shares one thing they appreciate about the other. These small, consistent acts seed warmth and reliability. Seneca reminds us that time, once lost, cannot be regained. By carving out these micro-rituals, we demonstrate that relationships are a priority, not an afterthought. Ironically, these small moments often yield the richest rewards. A friend who feels truly seen, a partner who knows you care, a colleague who knows their efforts matter. Part 6. Honor boundaries with integrity. While we seek deep connections, the Stoics also teach us the importance of healthy boundaries. Authenticity does not mean dissolving our sense of self into another person. Instead, it's about mutual respect for space, values, and limits. Marcus Aurelius advises, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. In practice, this means knowing when to say no without guilt and when to step back without resentment. If a friend calls at midnight when you have an early meeting, you might gently say, I'm sorry I can't fully engage right now. Can we catch up tomorrow? In doing so, you maintain integrity and prevent silent resentment. Boundaries, far from erecting walls, create clear ground for trust. They say, I value both you and myself. When we honor our limits, we model self-respect, and when we honor others, we model empathy. This delicate balance is the bedrock of sustainable, authentic relationships. Part 7. Transform disagreements into opportunities. Finally, authentic connections aren't just about warm fuzzies, they also thrive in the face of conflict. How often have we shied away from disagreement, fearing rupture? Stoicism invites us to reframe conflict as fertile ground for growth. Epictetus urges us to recall that people act according to their judgments, and those judgments can differ widely from our own. When a disagreement arises, ask, what can I learn from this perspective? Instead of seeking victory, seek understanding. Use questions like, help me see why this matters to you, or what experiences shaped your view. This approach diffuses defensiveness and uncovers shared values beneath divergent opinions. I recall a heated debate among friends about how best to balance work and personal life. Voices grew loud and emotions flared. Yet one person paused and said, "Before we go further, can each of us share what success looks like?" Suddenly, the conversation shifted from clashing strategies to shared goals of well-being and purpose. What began as conflict transformed into collaboration. So there you have it, 7 unconventional Stoic-inspired insights to cultivate authentic connections. Embracing stillness, sharing value-based vulnerability, asking Stoic questions, practicing empathetic solidarity, curating quality circles, and living reciprocal gratitude. Which insight resonated most with you? I invite you to pick one practice and weave it into your conversations this week. Notice the shift from superficial exchange to soul-nourishing dialogue. Thank you for tuning into Stoic Warrior. If this episode sparked something within you, please leave a comment sharing your experience or challenge. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to connect more deeply with others and with yourself. Until next time, may you find strength in stillness, clarity in conversation, and authenticity in every connection. Stay calm, stay curious, and keep reflecting.